Good morning everybody, and this is your S&P 500 day trade setups for today. So the Fed song and dance is out the way, and pretty much nothing has changed. We are still confused, we're still stuck in this range. The only difference here is on the lower time frames, which you'll look at just now. It does look like a bit of a trend forming or a channel forming. So from the 8-hour perspective or the daily, it doesn't matter which one you look at, to be honest. The reality is you need to get above 38.86, and we need to hold that level before we can even consider that we're going to continue up. And the continuation up would be this move up, pull back, second move up. So it would be something like this. But obviously we need to get above some structure before that happens, and obviously that starts targeting not the all-time highs, but it does start targeting some structure a little bit higher up in this zone here. And there's a gap up there as well. So that's kind of the macro view that we're looking at the moment. But obviously we need to get above structure before that happens. We also need the moving averages to flip over. So at the moment we are in a downward trend according to the moving averages, but the reality is it's sideways. And the oscillators are not giving us any information at the moment. So that's something that we also need to pay attention to. So let's just drill down through the time frames. 3-hour, pretty much the same picture. You can see yesterday, here's the Fed minutes that came out. Tails to the upside, tails to the downside. So there was nothing in the minutes that was going to act as a catalyst for anybody. So hence we stayed where we are. We are now sort of above the moving averages. We haven't got a crossover yet, and obviously we need to be above the 155 EMA before we start looking for longs on the 3-hour. If you just draw this line in as well, you'll see what I'm talking about there. You can draw along the top and you'll see that's kind of the start of your channel. Could also be a rounding bottom formation. Could be a flat top triangle formation. There's a lot that it could be. Bottom line is, for any longs on the higher time frames, we need to get above 38.86. Breaks below 37.98 starts triggering shorts. So from an intraday perspective, let's have a look at the 1-hour. And when you see noise in the market and you see these tails, the buyers were coming in here, kept trying to drive it down, and the buyers just kept piling in. So every time price came down into this area here, which was 38.30, the buyers just kept climbing in. I don't see much structure apart for this here, and it's typical of a range because you don't often get structure in the range. The real structure is the top and bottom of the range. So we do have a crossover, and we do have a break of the 155 and 3 attempts at it. Remember what I've always said, third time lucky. That saying has a lot to do with the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, because there's always multiple attempts, and often it's 3. So it's either third time lucky or third time unlucky. And it doesn't matter which way you look at it, you always see 3 attempts at a level. I wouldn't say 100% of the time, but probably about 70% of the time if you just back test that structure. So what do we need to do today? I think today is a 15-minute day, but if we're going to do this kind of price action on the 15 minutes above and below the moving averages like this, I have no interest in it, to be honest. So we are above the moving averages, everything is hunky-dory here, but I'm going to need to see some structure. So let's just pick this previous swing low here. See, that's the previous swing low. It was a swing high. We did reject it here. We tried here, and then we sort of failed, and now we're flirting with it again. So I'd be looking for support in this zone here. So if we can get some support between 38.50 and 38.45, bearing in mind that there's a gap, there's 2 gaps down here that we formed today. I don't see anything else from yesterday, so we'll have to put another level in. If we can find one, that's probably the closest we're going to get, is that swing high there. Okay, so what we're looking for is we're looking for support somewhere in this area at 38.45, 38.50, 38.45, we're looking for price to hold that area. If we can hold that level, then there is a fairly good chance of a move up to come and test the top of the range at 38.86. Your stop is below the low of today at the moment. If we break below the low of today, then what I'd be waiting for is a rejection of this area here. So I'd be waiting for a rejection of probably 38.45 or 38.40 would be the two areas. Get a rejection there, then I'm looking for a move down to, not to the bottom of the channel, sorry, the range, but to the bottom of this trend line, which would be around 38.05, 3800. So those are the two scenarios. If we break that up or down, that's kind of the way I would look at it. And you're probably going to find some structure, hopefully on the 5 minute. Yesterday was all over the place. We do have a little bit more data coming out today, so that may also be a catalyst. But be wary, if we start doing this kind of stuff, like dropping below, and then we don't respect the rejection areas like what happened yesterday there, happened here, where we did reject a level, but immediately buyers stepped in. So if we keep doing this above and below the moving averages, it is a sit on hands case, then you need to just get out of it. We need to see a clear break, clear retest of some structure before we start looking at it. And if you're on the lower time frames, those are the three levels to watch. If you are like me and we're really just waiting for the hour to play out, those levels are also key. But I'd want to see a break and retest this area. But ultimately, I want to see a break of 38.86 before really committing to any longs. And same to the downside, 38.98, 37.98. Let's just call it 3800. A break and retest of 3800 would commit me to shorts. So that's kind of the structure that I'm looking at on the hour. 5 and 15 minute charts, we'll check in at the open and see if something is brewing. If we get some rejection, there may be some quick scalps there one way or another. Anyway, those are levels to watch. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.